The West Valley used to be the part of Phoenix that people would literally just drive through on the way to California. Well, Goodyear is changing that story right in front of us. And there are things about the city that no one is talking about. By the end of this video, you're going to see Goodyear completely differently. Goodyear is in the middle of a transformation that is genuinely exciting. A brand new downtown destination is taking shape. New construction is going up everywhere you look, and the mountain views at the south end of Goodyear are spectacular. But that same growth has also brought thousands of rental units, and Goodyear is also home to the largest power corridor in the entire state. So what does this all actually mean if you're thinking about buying a home here? That is exactly what we're going to break down for you today. All right, let's jump into the good stuff. Stay positive. I'm going to save the cons for later. Don't go anywhere because they're kind of big. Yeah. So let's talk about the good stuff. The crime rate is relatively low. If you take a look at crimegrade.org, you have an A- grade if we were back in school. But you can see very clearly how Goodyear compares to its neighboring cities. Super dark green is a big thumbs up, and then it's a little bit light green in some other areas. Let me say, even the safest cities in the country are going to have problems. Not every place is perfect, but to have an A- and be this close to the city, the big city that Goodyear is kind of sprouting off of, this is an overall very, very safe area. More than 95% of Goodyear residents, they took a community survey, said that they feel safe in their neighborhood. That is hard to argue. Number two, jobs are coming to Goodyear at massive numbers. The ideal location of being right off of Interstate 10 is a huge factor, and there's a lot of land still to be developed right off of Interstate 10. You have GTI Energy that's coming in. We're going to continue to see these manufacturing and distribution companies or businesses and buildings continue to grow in Goodyear. They are, like I said, it's exploding. We also have Amazon out this way. We have distribution. We have Lockheed Martin. We have Sub-Zero. We have UPS. Right on Interstate 10 is a huge benefit for the city of Goodyear, and jobs are going to continue to be coming here. Here's the thing, and we're going to talk about housing obviously in a moment, but I have to tell you the median income in Goodyear is $105,000. That is a very high income. This is not a commute to qualify, lower income type of area. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get affordable housing. We'll talk about that in just a moment, because I want to get to my favorite part actually about Goodyear is the proximity. And when I say proximity, the location, again, great for these companies that are coming in, but that also means for residents. Now, there's a couple of different parts of Goodyear, so I'm just going to kind of take Goodyear as a whole for this part of the conversation. Number one, you have downtown Goodyear, GSQ, that started building a couple of years ago, and it just continues to grow. There's new businesses. The city offices are there. They're starting to do events there. There's new restaurants. There's shopping and movie theaters and everything that you could want in a city. If that's your center, if that's your core, you have everything already, and every time there's a new opening, there's something new coming in. Proximity to spring training. The Goodyear Recreation is also an amazing community center that they have there. They have all kinds of outdoor activities. They have swimming pool, lap pool, they have a skateboard park, they have pickleball, they have basketball. And the indoor community center is not just, again, indoor pickleball, basketball, volleyball. There's all kinds of programs for the kids, and it's so affordable for residents of Goodyear. And here's the thing, it's only available for Goodyear residents. Because Goodyear and Buckeye are right next to each other, and same with Goodyear and Avondale. If you are not a Goodyear resident, you do not get access to this amazing community. I love it. They even have like some cool computer science rooms that teens can hang out after school and everything. Get them off the streets, keep them entertained and educated, and I'm telling you that community center is over the top. Buc-ee's is opening up in Goodyear. Like it is, by the time this video is released, it will be open. We can't wait. The long-awaited Buc-ee's, it's the first one that's in Arizona. I do believe people from all over the valley will be going to Buc-ee's, but if you call Goodyear home, it'll just be where you probably stop to get gas or maybe some brisket or something like that. The other part, the proximity, is just a little bit beyond Goodyear, and that's going to be downtown Phoenix. If you're employed in downtown Phoenix, and here's the thing too, I know a lot of pilots that live in Goodyear because they have to have close proximity to the airport, and it's not that far out. They have beautiful mountain views, and if you are also looking for luxury homes that aren't breaking the bank, Goodyear is like the last secret, just to let you know. And so the proximity to downtown, that would be medical care, jobs. Again, it's downtown Phoenix. It's going to have absolutely everything you're thinking of in reference to a big city. Now, here's the other part. You're not too far off of the intersection of the Interstate 10 and Highway 101. There is huge improvement being made right now at the time of this video. They're going to be making this an even bigger interchange. But if you head straight up north on 101, you're going to get to Westgate Center. Westgate Center has, first of all, it has a huge casino out this way. There's a Desert Diamond concert venue here. I actually saw Lady Gaga there not too long ago. Yeah, it was great people watching, by the way. There's also outdoor shopping and activities at Westgate. Great for kids. That's also where the State Farm Stadium is, where the Cardinals play. If you're a big football fan, there's also Top Golf over here. There is Mainstream. There's going to be, it is a huge destination. Oh, what is that place called? Pickle and Chicken and Pickle or something, if you're a big pickleball player. It is unbelievable. The outlet shopping, again, this is only 30 minutes away. But at the same time, if you don't want to be in the hustle and bustle, Goodyear is really still kind of quiet. There's a lot of open land. Not only is there a lot of open land, even where they're building shopping areas, like south of Interstate 10, you already have the basics. You have a huge super Target over here. You have amazing Fry's grocery store that has covered parking. Oh my gosh. This is one of the good things about getting into these newer areas. Like when people, they tend to maybe gravitate towards the East Valley, but it's expensive. And I don't want to say it's old because it's only like 20 to 50 years old, depending on the city you're looking at. But when you talk about newer technology, talk about a shaded grocery, like the entire parking lot is shaded. And on the top, there's solar panels. How smart is that? And that's in Goodyear. But again, you can see all the paths that are set up for future businesses to come in. So everything you need is in Goodyear within 10, 20 minutes, depending on where you call home. And only more and more are going to come in. So that proximity compared to the rest of the valley is honestly, I know safety is important for everybody. Jobs are really important, but the proximity is hard to beat. Like it's really kind of central west, if that makes sense. All right. The next one I want to get to, and that's the housing. And I really want to talk about new construction as well as resale homes. New construction there is honestly where you can get some fantastic deals before Goodyear finishes up its reinvention. You can get RV garage homes for under $600,000 and not be right by Luke Air Force Base. It's the last part of the valley. I feel like that you have that opportunity. If you are someone that's looking for some space, like you don't want to be crowded with all the, close lots and things like that, there is a ton of new construction that have larger lots in the city of Goodyear. Now, I'm not talking about Estrella Mountain Ranch. We're going to talk about that in a second. There is El Cedro that also is not too far off of Interstate 10. It's near shopping, dining, like I said, spring training games. All of that is exploding over there. And you're not too far away from the freeway and the downtown area. The lots are bigger. There feels like there's more space. The air feels cleaner. It's just open. Now, when you get down to Estrella Mountain Ranch, I'll tell you, when somebody says they're thinking about Goodyear, typically that's what they mean, number one. Number two, they were thinking of like the old Goodyear. Like if you are familiar with vehicle tires, they're right, manufacturing Goodyear, that That's where Goodyear tires used to be. That's how that city actually came to be a long time ago. So there's some older parts of Goodyear that wouldn't necessarily be on people's radars, especially if you're relocating here from another state. And then there is the north part of Goodyear, like Pebble Creek, which is a 55 plus community, which is really interesting. I'm going to mention some cons if that's what you're looking for about that area. So definitely stay tuned. So the new construction, I feel like even in Estrella Mountain Ranch at the time of this video, phenomenal opportunities. Not a lot of new construction in Estrella Mountain Ranch right now, but there's some beautiful views, mountains, trails, accessibility. In my opinion, you feel like you're on vacation 24/7. But there is a whole area that is absolutely going to be built up with residential homes over the next 10 to 20 years. If you are looking for an upside, this is an ideal area as we're going to continue to see growth, and it's affordable entry level. I love what you can get in Goodyear for your buck and not having to go all the way outside of the valley. All right, number 5 I want to get to is most of Goodyear is flat. If you've ever heard me use the word ugly desert, I mean it's ugly desert. But as you go to the further south part, you have Estrella Mountain. Some of the most spectacular mountain views, and there's not a lot of housing near Estrellas, even on both sides. Think about it. Mountain range has 2 different sides, right? Estrellas are very unique, and that's why Estrella Mountain Ranch is also very unique. The master plan community is having that lake and the clubhouse and the pickleball courts and the restaurants. And I always say, if you can live out of a Safeway, meaning if everything you need, you never have to leave this like perpetual vacation area. And the trail system that is up here, if you are looking for a dark sky community, if you are looking for some overnight camping and teaching the kids about the desert and wildlife, and it is stunning. And being this close to the city, again, that's the benefit of Estrella Mountain Ranch, in my opinion. You're just about 15 miles south, which is about a 15-minute drive. So every area has pros and cons. Every area has a trade-off. Only you can decide what is acceptable for you and decide if that particular area is good for you. And I had to do more research on this because I'm like, what is up with the excessive power lines? Because you just don't see these in the rest of the valley. In parts you do, but again, Goodyear is excessive. So I did more research and I found out really that Goodyear specifically is one of the largest power corridors in the entire state. And it runs straight through Goodyear, actually 2 different parts. I have this quick map so you can kind of see, and it still doesn't really tell you the story. Because I'll tell you, you're talking about transmission lines, you're talking about power towers, and you're talking about those ginormous metal, I don't know what you call them. Remember back in the day, street lights was just like a telephone pole, right? And then, these are monstrosities. And it's insane, and it makes sense when I did the research. So Palo Verde nuclear power plant is directly west of Goodyear. It's actually in Buckeye, at the very west end of Buckeye, kind of near Tonopah. And I did not realize this, but that nuclear plant provides a lot of the electricity, not only to the West Valley of Arizona, so Surprise, Buckeye, and Goodyear, but also to California. So this explains why there's just, again, not just a lot of power lines, but ginormous power lines. So if this is of concern to you, you definitely want to do some research to find out where those power lines are. I've done videos in Estrella Mountain Ranch. At the north end, you can see these power lines that are like, and again, it's shown on that map I just showed you, but you can see these power lines, and it's kind of shocking that homeowners or home buyers, they're like, I'm okay with that. I don't see how you can be okay with that. There are other mountain views in our valley that don't have power lines. So again, it's a very, very big part of Goodyear. And if you're wondering why, like, again, these power corridors were created decades ago when there were no homes here. And so now that the valley is growing quite a bit, the homes are being built around this power infrastructure. And it's very prevalent in Goodyear, Buckeye, and parts of Surprise. So again, if this is important to you, you're going to have to pay attention to that. Number two, what I don't like about most of Goodyear, it feels very industrial, and that's because it is. It is right off, I should say, of Interstate 10. So this makes for amazing logistic companies, manufacturing, distribution, and logistic companies going to and from California. Interstate 10, people don't realize this, it goes all the way from California to Florida, and it goes right through Phoenix. So everything I would say within a 5 miles south, again, once upon a time was just flat desert. That was the other thing too. Goodyear is very, very flat until you get to Estrella Mountain Ranch, to the Estrellas, I should say. I keep always combining those two. And so also when you're looking out in the desert in Goodyear, you can see miles because it's just flat, ugly desert. And so again, that's where these power lines are. There's a lot of power lines in Avondale. I can't get over the power lines. It bothers me. So I love the location where Estrella Mountain Ranch is because it's way south of this power corridor. But closer to the freeway, you're going to have to just be very, very aware of it. How did I get off the industrial? It's these massive, big industrial buildings. Not so pretty, guys. And as these buildings continue to be built, there's going to be more traffic, which is going to lead me to my third thing that I don't particularly care about Goodyear, is that the only freeway that goes near Goodyear or through Goodyear is Interstate 10. It is an absolute nightmare. Days, nights, weekends, holidays, it's crazy. And so although you might see some other YouTubers talking about the new freeway that's coming. It is coming, but not, and I hate to be morbid, but not in my lifetime. Like the State Route 30 that's going to be built where it will offset a lot of the traffic off of Interstate 10 so that people can move around. And then we'll also see more shopping and dining further south from Interstate 10. It's not going to be finished until 2046. I don't know about you guys. I mean, that'd be great if I'm here, but I'm certainly not going to be doing YouTube videos in 2046. So it's going to take quite some time. And you know, when they started building Estrella Mountain Ranch, you know, they were like, it'll come. Well, here we are, 25 plus years later. And yeah, it's exploded, right? Thousands, but it's still predominantly housing down there. So again, the traffic, if you need to get to the airport, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, even though, I mean, yeah, if you drive at 3 o'clock in the morning, it might only be 30 to 35 minutes. I'm telling you real life stuff. I'm not telling you what the computer is saying. It might only be 30 miles, but 30 miles you can't do in 30 minutes. Just saying, not from Goodyear. All right, number 4, I'm going to say it's an eyesore for me too. All the apartments. Absolutely insane. And it's not just apartment, it's rental communities too. Here's the thing. The job growth in the entire greater Phoenix area is projected to be about 430,000 over the next 10 years. That's a lot of people moving here. Okay. There's no way they can build single family homes fast enough in a 10-year period. We can't build that many homes in 10 years. It just can't be. But they can build apartments. And so that's why a lot of investors have been coming here and building these massive rental communities. Goodness gracious, next door neighbor Buckeye just approved almost 1,000 apartments in Buckeye. That's going to be just west of this Goodyear area. This is only going to add to Interstate 10 traffic problems. But Goodyear specifically, a GSQ. So that's the Goodyear Square. That's their marketing thing, right? GSQ is really cool. There's some very nice walkable areas if you live in some of those rentals nearby that you can walk to restaurants and coffee shops and what events they're having down there and everything. Thousands of apartments and thousands of apartments at the 101-303 intersection. Thousands of I can't even, it's insane. I don't know what other word to use except for it's quite the eyesore. It really is. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. I release 2 videos every week, Wednesday and Saturdays. Also, if you are thinking about moving in the next year or so, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. And also you can just scan this QR code thing. It'll bring you right over to my website. What I love about my website, and then I'll get to the very last con that's super important for people, is you can check this map out, and you can go to the map and you can scroll. If you're just like, no way, Goodyear, I'm out. But you're like, maybe I'm okay with Avondale, or maybe I'm okay with Buckeye, or I want to check out Litchfield Park. This map, you can just click on the city and it'll bring you all to my videos in those areas. I've covered the entire Phoenix Valley, guys. All right, let's get to the grand poobah, the big daddy of them all. Right at the intersection of Interstate 10 and the 303. Once upon a time, it was in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have the 303 a long time ago. That's a new freeway. It's a very big women's prison. I don't know if that's weird to me, but if you're thinking of Pebble Creek, know that there's a lot of pluses to live in that amazing community, as they will tell you. But proximity-wise, you're right by Luke Air Force Base, so you're talking lots of noise. You're right by the women's prison, right on the other side of the freeway. And then you're right by all these apartments. You're right by all of these industrial, I don't know, weigh out the pros and cons. More people that come to town and they look at that 55 plus community, Pebble Creek, because it looks beautiful online, right? That's what the builders want you to see. They get here and they're like, no, thank you. So again, this is no filter, girl. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm not going to make everything look beautiful. Here's the thing, guys. Every city, every home, every community has pros and cons. Only you can decide what works for you. But it's important that you understand what those trade-offs are. All right, guys, I appreciate you chiming in. I hope you subscribe, comment below. If you are thinking of moving to the greater Phoenix area, even in the next 12 to 18 months, this is actually now the perfect time to give us a call. Shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends, and holidays. We want to be your source for resources throughout the entire greater Phoenix area. We are your Valley Specialist go-to. All right, guys, thanks again. And did you call yet?